In the last decade or so, there's been this trend of redesigning superhero costumes to look more like armors so they can look good for movies and video games and such. From a comic book standpoint, this approach really isn't necessary. All it does is get in the way of the movement and makes it harder to maintain consistency across panels. If you want to put some armored part on your characters, then it's actually quite simple. Just using real-life athletic gears as reference point is more than good enough. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is alrav from Quebec, Canada, the author and creator of Alcatraz the Protector / Alcatraz le Protector. And for today's video, I'll be talking about the topic of character design. For starters, there are two basic principles to know about. The first one is when it comes to character designs, there are no rules. Just create whatever you want, as long as it's aesthetically pleasing to you. The odds are it will be for authors as well. Second part is, just like artists grow and evolve in real time, so too will the characters themselves. So don't fall into the trap of perfectionism or stuff like that. Just embrace the process of seeing the characters slowly evolve and change over time to reach closer and closer to their definitive forms. Now, when tackling characters from established properties such as Batman's or Spider-Man's, there are countless artistic interpretations already available out there. So it is easy to get a sense of taste and likes for which sort of design is pleasing to you. However, when creating a brand new character from scratch, you don't have that luxury, but there is a way to work around that. The solution to the problem is quite simple. All you have to do is create a super-deformed version of the character, or SD for short. It is a trope very frequently seen in manga and anime, but can be done as well for Western comics. All you have to do is cut the proportions of the characters in half. Professional artists use heads as measurement units to determine a character's height. So for instance, if your character is 8 heads high, then a super deformed version would be 4 heads high. The benefits of super deformed proportions are actually quite simple. Not only it gets to renew and refresh a character design by seeing it from different angles and perspective, but it also allows the artist to spot potential issues with the character design, especially when it's time to draw the characters at all sorts of different poses and camera angles. So it is practical and very easy to do. In my case, I created my own custom proportions to fit my own art style, but if you're drawing mangas, you can use the regular super deformed proportions of 3 or 4 heads high for your characters, and it will work beautifully. As for designing the characters themselves of the supporting cast, there were some trial and errors involved. Some were easier than others, but some were notoriously hard. The hardest one that I came up so far had to be Vicky here. The idea of having younger characters is very frequent in manga and anime, but much less so in Western comics. So to make sure that the proportion looked right and everything, I had to redo her body mode multiple times. Ended up creating my own just so she could scale accordingly well with the rest of the cast. So that was definitely quite a challenge. There are some reference guides from Andrew Loomis, a legendary artist that really helped to make this particular character possible. As for the Zextron avatars, these were a bit more interesting. The commander was designed with basic human proportions, the same as you would see with regular superheroes and superheroines, minus the unusual head shape. However, for the grunt and the scouts, there were some trial and errors involved. In the case of the grunt, I eventually settled on a classic 6 height body mold that's seen with the classic brute and monsters in old school American comics. So it kind of worked really well. However, in the case of scouts, since their emphasis was on their speed and reflexes, I had to create my own custom body mold from scratch, maintaining the same proportions as with the grunts themselves, but also making it so the legs will be the main emphasis. So there were definitely some challenge on that. Lastly, there's the process of drawing superhero costumes. One thing that I knew from the beginning is that the idea of combining classic superhero-esque spandex with hockey pads and such did make for a very simple but functional character design to make. And that is the most important aspect, because when you're drawing classic superheroes like I do, one thing that for sure, you have to learn how to draw them not only in various poses but also in action shots, in various camera angles. So there is some challenge in that. That's the reason why it is better to keep things simple and consistent. So adding too much armor on the characters would have only slowed them down. So it is important to have some balance. So some of the key areas that armors work well will be things such as the wrist levels, the calves, and the heads themselves, helmets and gears. These work really well. And that's what it takes to design characters for use in comic books and such. Let me know what you think in the commentary section below. As always, look forward to all the Alcatraz the Protector / Alcatraz the Protector stuff on my Substack. The first issue is available for free in both English and French, as well as its blog comics companion that is updated on a daily basis with brand new story content. With that being said, thanks for watching, and we'll see one another very soon. Enjoy the reading.